Hello.
Here's my spot. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome today, and also everybody online. Thank you all for coming today. It's such a pleasure to share my project, and it's a whole journey with all of you today. And before I start, I would like to introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Skylar, as all of you know me, but I do have a Chinese name, Wang Yue, because I was born in China originally and moved to the United States when I was 14. I don't know if any of you have the experience of living in a country that speaks a different language. Some of you probably have, but for me, I have tried it twice. The first time was when I went to the US, and the second time was actually this year. What I've learned is that when it comes to the moments that absolutely demands communication, when you have to make people understand you, you can. Like, even if we don't speak the same language, we can wave, we can draw to them, we try. And last time when we traveled to Napoli, there was an Italian grandpa that came to us, and he was gesturing like this. And he was also saying something, but we couldn't understand. And Miyue, she was so smart. She quickly understood that he was reminding her to wear the backpack in the front instead of the back because it was safer that way. And the entire process, no verbal words understood, but we understood his kindness because people's skills of communication is natural. And starting from last year, we all know what happened. COVID hits. That's also the reason why we're wearing the masks now. Because of it, we couldn't touch each other like before. We couldn't visit our friends and family like before. We have to talk, study, work all behind the screen. That's why we're doing this now. And but even during this hard time, we still managed. We managed to do this. We managed to stay connected because people's desire of communication are also natural and intuitive. It's because we want to feel. That's why we need to reach. Therefore, this has become the inspiration of my thesis project within the REACH. So having an idea, now I need to start doing research because I need to find the forms to put the ideas in. I started asking, what do I like as an artist? What is my aesthetic? I like things that's moving. I like things that has power, energy, like moving things frozen in the air, like water splash. But I also need to know what is the market like. From the research, I found that the chunky statement pieces are in trend. Body sculptures are popularly used in accessories and jewelries. So from all that research, I decided to use fabric to represent the physical bonding between people because fabric is made of yarns weaving together, and hand gestures to represent the emotional connection because we always express ourselves with hands. And the overall design language will be organic, flowy, free, but also with rhythm. Then I started sketching. I tried different combinations of these two elements, and because the forms are so organic, sometimes the pen and paper is not enough. So I tried to use 3D media to model. And then I also need to consider, do I want to use a more literal hands, or do I want to use a more simplified form to represent the motion? As also the materials, do I want to use a more contemporary combination, for example, like metals and recycled plastic, or keep it classic with bronze, silver, and gold? And after trials and discussions, here come to the final renderings. I divided the whole collection into different price levels. For the entry level, there are 2 pairs of earrings and a ring. For the medium, there are 2 more elaborated earrings and a chain necklace, 2 pendant necklaces and a brooch. The stones here can be creative sapphire or quartz. For the higher level, I I have a ring and a brooch with a semi-precious stone. And also a necklace that with the detachable pendant. Also, I wanted to broaden the potential for this collection. Maybe it can be not only a fine jewelry line, it can also be a high jewelry line. So I rendered a brooch that matches with a ring, and a necklace that have a pair of earrings to go with. The materials here can be yellow gold, white gold, diamonds, aquamarines, and sapphires. Okay, now after wandering around in the creative realm, we have to come down to the reality, because neither of the hand or the fabric is easy to model. So I started with building a surface and then use the UV curves from the surface and pipe them. I realized this form reminds me of the elastic covers over the fruits, don't they? So no, I don't like it. And then I was inspired by the parametric walls in architecture field. So I tried to look for tutorials, I did some samples. I do like the effects, but I couldn't have much control over the shapes. And then finally, I gathered all my knowledge and the advice I got. I come to the solution, which I offset the surface and rebuild the surface to make sure the overall thickness is even. And then I use Grasshopper to generate those spacers to cut the pieces with, so that the object can be lighter, especially for the earrings. And then because I decided to make the pieces in two color, I have to work on the construction, how to connect them. And of course, the back is always as important as the front in the jewelry field. Also this one, we have to work on the connection to how to build the two pieces together. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2. And for the hand, there is no shortcut. Although I feel the new sub-D function in Rhino 7 is already easy enough for some people who, like me, don't have experience to work with. So I model the hands there. And after having figured out the main two components, I tried to model the ring. First, I started to model them in 3 parts. And then after printing it, I realized I couldn't fit the fabric on it because the angle between the hand and the shank is too tight. So I improved the model. I did it in 5 parts. And this way, I can also clean and polish each part better. With a similar technique, I did the chains, the links, and the connection. But the real tricky challenge here is the clasp, because I wanted to hide the boss clasp underneath the interlocked hands. It's a crazy idea. But with the help with our amazing professors, Antonia and Roberta, thank you! With their help, we managed to do this. So the whole clasp is made in 6 parts. 5 of them we modeled in Rhino, and the last part, the tongue, we have to fabricate later in the lab. And again, thanks to Paulo, I don't know if he's there. He helped me to complete the project, which is amazing. And with a complete 3D model, now we have to print it to see if it really works. Because some problems will never show on the screen. For example, some proportions could be wrong. Some parts are literally too thin that we cannot clean it without breaking it. Or the settings could be too big for the stone. All these problems have happened to me. But with some changes, errors, and trials, we were able to cast them in real pieces and clean them, polish them to the final product. And here are the technical drawings of some of the pieces I produced. Seems dry and boring, right? I think so too. But they are very important because they get to decide how much the cost will be. And only by knowing the cost, we can know how much to sell it and how to sell it. That leads us to the fun part, the branding. So I decided to make the collection under my own brand, with my name, of course, which I envision the brand to be brilliant, authentic, original, and sophisticated. The collection, which we gave the name within the REACH, it derives from connection and movement, and we hope it can evoke people's hope and empathy. We position ourselves to target on the young professionals who starts to build a serious career, who starts to develop a personal presence, which means they want to dress in their own style and also make an imprint in people's impression. And I also looked up other similar brands, for example, like Schiaparelli, Anthony Land, and Yakanishi, to see how their communication style is and how do they do their pricing. So for our collection, the fine jewelry line will be between 200 to 2,000 euros, and the high jewelry line will be over 5,000. We can first sell it online, for example, through our own website and other multi-brand retailers such as Farfetch and List. And then we can also sell them at fashion boutiques. For example, the art fashion district called Roll in downtown LA is a very good spot. And with all the information that we gathered, let's check out our promotional material. So for the still life photo shoot, we wanted to keep it simple with a white background but with the fabric texture. So we can focus on the, there is a link between the piece and the background, but we also want to keep it simple to focus on the product. And this is the ring and the bracelet. For the model photos, it's the same. They have a natural, dewy, glowy makeup, but no saturated color. And the brochure and the leaflet, just like the ones in your hands right now, they're consistent with our communication style. As for the display, as you can see, the main shape is like a rounded corner rectangle. It derives from our logo, letter O. So it's also very simple, elegant, but the rounded corner give a more approachable feeling to the customers. And also, all the pieces are detachable, so it's easier for packing and shipping. As for the package, so the packaging, the overall finish will be glossy except for the top. The top will be matte, so we can focus on the logo better. And at first, I wanted to open like this, but I realized to open like this, there needs to be a hinge. But with the hinge, the external body, exterior wouldn't be perfectly flat and smooth. So we improved the model to open like this, so it can have a better feel in your hand. And this is, this one is just a mock-up for our social media page, but I have updated the real page, which is also consistent with the QR code behind it, and this is our real social media page, which consists of the inspiration photos, the sketches, the still life, and also model photos. And here we have a video to conclude and summarize our whole collection. or perfection. But I humbly hope to share a little bit of my personal value through my works. With the globalization, people from all over the world have more things in common than differences. Each of us, as the citizen of the earth, we have the common interest and we have to face many crises together. And this pandemic is the best example. When there is a bigger problem in front of us, we, humans, have no choice but to lay down our differences and barriers and to unite, communicate and cooperate together to face it. Only by doing so, hope can be within the reach and our loved ones can be within the reach. Thank you.